Hey, happy Thursday and welcome to the first day of August. Wow, it has been very hot the last few days and it looks like August is going to stay hot. We're starting August out very stormy as well. Yesterday, we had pretty impressive hail and wind across a good portion of the plains and even parts of the Midwest. Today, we do have another hail risk, not as impressive as yesterday, but still it's on the board here. And we're checking on that Atlantic activity. So the tropics are becoming just a little bit more active, and we will have a look at exactly what areas you need to be keeping an eye on. But we are also talking about some of our upcoming events for the next week. So this is August 8th in Grapevine, Texas. It is the NTRCA Not So Many trade show. We would love for you to stop by our booth. We'd love for you to come say hello. Registration is at ntrca.com. But we also have information on this on our Facebook page. We have an event set up. If you want to say that you're coming and let us know that you'll be there, head over to our Facebook page for all of that information. Okay, let's take a look at yesterday, our hailstorm highlight here. Usually we only do these for 2-star or 3-star or higher events. However, I did see some pretty impressive hail out of this yesterday. We got a report of 4-inch sized hail. So it's pretty impressive. It didn't impact too many homes here, but I did want to take you up to northern Kansas, where we got some of the largest hail just to the west and south of Concordia there, just to the north of Hays, Kansas. We also got some hail just outside of Minneapolis. Minneapolis, you saw hail just to the south of you and then off to the west as well. So a lot of people getting that hail yesterday. Not everyone getting 4 inches in size, but yeah, some of us got softball-sized hail yesterday. One of the bigger stories that we saw yesterday was the wind. So we did see some very strong wind out there, up to 95 miles an hour. Now this was across Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, and Minnesota. You can see some of that strong wind that came through Kansas City, hitting Omaha head on. I mean, it was almost like a bullseye to Omaha there. And then we also saw some wind up near Minneapolis, just not terribly impressive or as impressive as what we saw in Kansas and Nebraska. We also saw several tornadoes out there as well. So several reported tornadoes yesterday in the Omaha area and then up into northern Nebraska. There's all of those hail reports in northern Kansas. So pretty impressive day yesterday, very active across the northern plains and into the Midwest. Lots of people getting those storms yesterday. Moving on to your total rainfalls. So rainfall totals here. We're talking about showers and storms through the central portion of Kansas. We got some really good widespread rain up in Minnesota. Pretty sparse as we head farther down to the south, and as we've been talking about, absolutely dry farther out to the west. Current conditions, we've got still that rain up in Minneapolis. They issued a severe thunderstorm watch just to the east of St. Louis. I kind of wondered if they did. They put out that mesoscale discussion saying it was a possibility. We had a severe thunderstorm warning over St. Louis, and then they issued that severe thunderstorm watch in that area as well. So we're going to return to that area and talk about some of those storms out of St. Louis in just a few minutes, but I do want to get to your current temperatures. Right now we're in the 80s and 90s, 93 in Oklahoma City, 91 in Dallas. As always, Las Vegas is the hottest at 99, 87 in Denver right now, 92 out in Atlanta, and we'll take a look at those feel-like temperatures in just a few minutes, but I do want to get to the rain. Right now we've got showers and storms over Minneapolis, few isolated showers and storms through Green Bay and Chicago. But we do want to get down to this tornado warning that's happening right now just outside of St. Louis. It looks like there's a severe thunderstorm warning down to the south and then a tornado warning farther up to the north coming into Harder, and then that's just south of Effingham. So if you've got anyone in this area just outside of St. Louis here in between St. Louis and Princeton, I want you to go ahead and make sure that they're in their safe spot, and you can look a little bit farther out as well. Make sure that anyone just to the east of here is also in their safe spot. So lots of storms already happening even at noon. We're expecting more storms to happen later on today. So we'll talk about that risk in just a minute. Let's get to your temperatures. 91 in Chandler, 94 in Shawnee, 89 in Dallas, 92 in Fort Worth. We've got lots of people climbing up in those temperatures. You know, here in Oklahoma City, we just went for a walk. We do a lot of walks here at Hail Trace, and we just went for a walk. The wind made it feel a lot nicer than the low 90s. I mean, it was very bearable. We walked for about 20-25 minutes, and it was very bearable. Now, that was about an hour ago. It has definitely warmed up since then. It feels like 99 right here in Oklahoma City, 96 in Dallas, 103 is the feel like temperature in Memphis, 103 down in Macon, and 105 looks like the winner here down in Florida. I don't think anyone can beat 105, but we can match it out at Virginia Beach. Yeah, it's hot out there. It's gonna stay hot through the rest of August. We'll talk about the temperature outlook in just a few minutes, but it's gonna stay hot. Let's take a look at that instability today. You can see already near St. Louis, we're using up a little bit of that instability from those storms that are moving just to the east of town right now. We're going to continue to do that as we head into the evening hours. We're going to continue through the late night hours, and then as we head into the late night, our attention turns off to Oklahoma, farther out to the west, northern Oklahoma. We are going to see more showers and storms through the late night hours and early tomorrow morning. What about that hail risk? Hail possible down in northern Oklahoma and southern Kansas. The hail model is not doing a great job of picking up some of the chances for hail in between here, but you can see parts of that and some yellow areas down into central Kentucky. I do think that we're going to have some hail across the Midwest today as well, but we'll keep an eye on it for you. Let's talk about that hail forecast for today. So we're going to start, you can see some of those storms that are moving across places like St. Louis right now. We're going to start farther down to the south in Oklahoma, where we're expecting some of those storms to arrive later on tonight and into tomorrow morning. Tulsa, I have a low risk for hail just because of the timing of this system, but also because it's a bit sporadic, isolated. We're not going to see that widespread storm coverage here. It's going to be a thin line of storms that are mostly isolated. Much more coverage of storms the farther east that you go. So into places like Indianapolis and then even farther down to the south, you can see that this is pretty widespread. St. Louis, these storms have already passed you. I really think that there's a pretty low chance for hail in St. Louis as we head into the evening hours. So I have a green icon for them. I know that I kept the hail sizes very, very low for today. However, I do think that we could see some isolated larger hailstones mix in there. So up to hen egg, maybe tennis ball. I was right in between the two today. I went ahead with hen egg sized hail today. Could we see an isolated tennis ball? It's possible. I think it's a little bit more likely to see hen egg sized hail today, if not a little bit smaller than that. Wind will be another concern for today. We're going to see high wind from some of these storms that are happening right now. As this continues to track to the east, we'll continue to see high wind out of those storms through the evening hours. And of course, we've already seen a tornado warning down just to the east of St. Louis. We could see two different areas for possible tornado risk today. Isolated tornado possible up in places like Wisconsin, and then all the way down to the south into the Midwest, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, and into Kentucky, also looking for that tornado risk for today. It's a low risk, but as we've seen already, it's definitely possible. Okay, let's take a look at that future radar. You can see those showers and storms right now that are coming out of St. Louis. You can see that tracking to the east past Cincinnati as we head into the evening hours. This is 9:30, so into Cincinnati between about 7 and 9 o'clock tonight, maybe a little bit earlier depending on where you live in the city. That could interrupt your dinner plans, so make sure that you plan accordingly and have a radar app on your phone so that you can take a look at that to make sure that you know when and where those storms are coming. Cleveland could get skimmed by a few of these storms, however, I do think the severe risk will be farther down to the south there. And taking a look at Green Bay, which is in the risk for hail today and that tornado risk, these storms will likely be on and off throughout most of the day. However, I think the strongest storms will be through the afternoon and evening hours. That could impact your evening commute as well. Okay, let's restart the radar and go farther down to the south now, because we do have a few chances for showers and storms in this area as well. These will also be kind of on and off, kind of sporadic today through the afternoon and evening hours. You can see those storms coming through Kentucky through the overnight hours tonight and into early tomorrow morning, losing a lot of that energy as we head into the early morning hours tomorrow. However, that still could impact your morning commute. Now getting down into Oklahoma, where I mentioned we could have another round of strong to severe storms. This will be through the late night hours, so this is not going to pop up until about dinner time, if not shortly thereafter. You can see it starts out very isolated, 1, maybe 2 storms near 7:30. But then as we head into the late night hours, this grows into a isolated line, a sporadic line of storms. So we often think about a line of storms as a very congealed line, a very congealed system. However, these will be pretty isolated. Not everyone in this line getting storms here. This will continue through the late night hours tonight and into tomorrow morning. You can see it becomes a little bit more scattered by tomorrow morning, possibly even interrupting your early morning commute. So places like Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Guthrie, even as far north as Wichita, I would go ahead and plan accordingly tomorrow morning. Give yourself a little bit of extra time for your morning commute. Another hazard that we're always keeping an eye on is that flooding hazard. So if we've talked about the hail, wind, and tornado risk for today. Here's a look at your flooding hazard. The greatest likelihood for flooding will be farther up to the north, most likely because of that more widespread nature of these storms. They're going to be a little bit more scattered and larger in size. Farther down to the south, I mentioned it's going to be very, very isolated. But this will also come with that wind threat, so you need to be aware of that. You could see ponding on the roadways. That could also interrupt your dinner or evening commute plans as well. We've been talking about the risk for, I can actually go back to this map here. I'm going to show you, look out to the west. The past few days, we've seen a fire risk out there, or an elevated fire danger. Today, we are not seeing that. Great news there. However, we're still watching that smoke that looks like it's traveling farther off to the east into places like Denver once again. You could get hazy skies as far south as Oklahoma, right into the northern portion of the plains here. You could also have some very hazy skies. So if you look up and it looks a little hazy today, it could be because of the smoke that's coming out of California. Another big story that we've been talking about leading up to August, and now that we're in August, we're going to be talking about this heat a lot more. So we do have heat watches, warnings, and advisories in place for today. That's what you see here in orange and purple. Anywhere from the south to the southern plains, all the way out to the northwest, we are all dealing with that heat. So make sure that you're drinking plenty of water. Actually, a lot of these alerts go all the way up the East Coast here. So a lot of people are dealing with those extreme temperatures and extreme feel-like temperatures as well. Taking a look at the future radar, we do have another round of showers and storms in place for tomorrow as well. We've got a marginal risk in place for the Midwest. We could see once again all hazards, including that hail and wind risk here. We'll be keeping an eye on it, and of course we'll have a forecast for you tomorrow as well to get you ready for these showers and storms. And taking a look at those temperatures over the next few days, okay? It's been hot, it's gonna stay hot. It looks like we're going to go back into the triple digits for Friday here in Oklahoma City. Let's see, we've got Salt Lake City, Boise, Billings. We've got El Paso in the triple digits, Dallas, Oklahoma City. Anyone else? Anyone else want to join us? Nope, no takers. Okay, 100 degrees in Oklahoma City. Yes, it's going to stay hot all the way through the weekend. Temperatures will most likely be above average into the first week of August, past the first week of August, if not most of August. So let's take a look through August 10th here. So this is the 6th through the 10th. It looks like we will be above average for the West Coast, southern portion of the U.S., the Southeast, also above average. A little bit of a break up to the north. That'll be awesome. Congratulations. That feels, I'm sure that'll feel really, really nice. We're a little jealous down here of your cooler temperatures. So here's what this map is showing. 85 is your average in Chicago this time of the year. You have a low likelihood to be below 85 as we head into the last part of that first week of August, into August 10th, okay? Denver, you're about average, so you've got a pretty good likelihood of hitting that 83 degrees. Oklahoma City, 94 is your average. You will most likely be above 94 all the way through August 10th. So that's what this map is telling you here. I know we've got places or people from places all across the country here. So if you want to see your average on the board here, put a comment in and I'll add that for tomorrow's forecast. But you can always send us a comment about where you're watching from. Okay, for rain chances, it looks like the Midwest is going to get some really good rain over the next 5 days. Florida also looks like it's going to get some rain. I'm kind of wondering if this right here is accounting for the activity in the tropics right now, which we can talk about in just a few minutes. It is starting to take aim right around Florida, so we can talk about that in just a few minutes. As always, the West staying pretty dry. It looks like Denver could get some rain over the next 5 days. This is great news. Above average rainfall into the middle of August or the first third of August for places like Denver and then farther out to the west. Great news there. We would love to see that happen. That also means pretty good storm chances as well. If we have that heat and that moisture, we could get some pretty good storm chances. Okay, let's take a look at the Atlantic. You know, I just talked about Florida, maybe getting some really good rain or possibly even too much rain from this system that's coming in right now. So this is your 7-day tropical outlook. What this means is we have not named this the National Hurricane Center has not named this as a disturbance yet. However, they may over the next few days. Confidence is increasing that within the next 2 days, we could see a 20% chance for some really significant formation here. Over the next 7 days, a 60% chance. So what we're watching for here is originally, this looked like it could go up to the East Coast and just kind of track right along the East Coast here. However, now it looks like it's going to go more into the Gulf. So we've got a lot of warm water in the Gulf that could lead to easier intensification for this system. It all kind of depends on timing, how fast can it get its act together, you know? So we'll keep an eye on it. It's still just a bunch of clouds, as you can see, a significant wave out in the Atlantic, so we'll keep an eye on it for you, and of course we'll keep you updated on any significant updates that we have for you. All right, thanks for watching on this Thursday afternoon. We're almost to the end of the week. Happy August. As always, follow us on all of our social media. We've got Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, where we like to post all about the weather on those pages. And if you would like any hail, wind, or tornado maps, you can head over to our website at hailtrace.com. Give us a call to get a plan at 855-334-4245 or email us at info@hailtrace.com. All right, thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here, same time, same place tomorrow.